Emma, a 10-year-old with a love for science and discovery, had long chestnut brown hair tied into a neat braid. Her hazel eyes glimmered with curiosity, and she carried a small backpack filled with essentials like a compass, flashlight, and her trusty notebook. She was the group's chronicler, always documenting their findings. Jack, the eldest at 11, had short black hair and stormy gray eyes. He was tall for his age and brimming with confidence. He considered himself the leader of their trio, though his decisions were often impulsive. Jack carried a wooden stick he pretended was a sword, claiming it was his explorer's tool. Then there was Sophie, the youngest at 9. She had a freckled face, fiery red hair cut short, and sparkling blue eyes. Full of energy and a knack for creativity, Sophie loved to draw and saw beauty in the strangest places. While she was often playful, she had a surprising courage that surfaced when least expected. The big decision. It was a sunny Saturday when the three gathered in Jack's backyard, sitting under the shade of a giant oak tree. The air was crisp, and their excitement was palpable. "My dad says the forest is full of hidden treasures," Jack said enthusiastically, waving his stick like a sword. "But people are scared to go in because they think it's cursed." "Cursed?" Sophie widened her eyes, intrigued but also a little worried. "What if there are monsters?" "There are no monsters," Emma replied firmly. "Those are just stories to scare us. The forest is probably filled with fascinating plants and animals we can study." "So, we agree? Tomorrow morning, we'll explore the forest," Jack declared, standing as if addressing an army. "I'll bring my supplies," Emma nodded. "And I'll bring my paints," Sophie said with a grin. Preparing for the journey. The next morning, the trio met at the forest's edge. Each had packed a bag. Emma's bag was filled with practical tools, a flashlight, notebook, compass, and some snacks. Jack carried a flashlight, his stick, and a bottle of water. Sophie's bag was full of paints, brushes, and candy she couldn't live without. "Ready?" Jack asked, taking the lead. "Let's not rush, we need to stay safe," Emma replied, glancing at her compass. "I hope we see some giant butterflies," Sophie added, skipping ahead with excitement. The magical forest. As they stepped into the forest, it felt as though they had entered another world. The trees were towering giants, their leaves shimmering faintly as if sprinkled with stardust. The air smelled sweet and earthy, and the melodic chirping of birds seemed like a song composed just for them. "Look at this place." Sophie spun around, her eyes wide with wonder. "Check the ground." Emma pointed to unusual footprints in the soil. Jack knelt to inspect them. "These could be a clue. Let's follow them." Carefully, they traced the footprints deeper into the forest until they stumbled upon something extraordinary, a circle of stones, perfectly arranged. In the center was an old wooden door, half buried in moss and dirt. "What is that?" Sophie whispered, her voice a mix of fear and excitement. "It looks like a hidden entrance," Jack exclaimed, already moving toward it. "Do we open it?" Emma asked, cautious but intrigued. "Of course," Jack said confidently. The door to another world. Jack pushed the door open, revealing a wooden staircase descending into darkness. A faint chill wafted upward, sending shivers down their spines. "Are we really going down there?" Sophie asked nervously. "Yes." "Don't worry, I've got this," Jack said, gripping his stick tightly. They descended carefully, their flashlights illuminating the way. When they reached the bottom, they were speechless. They had stepped into a magical realm. The trees here glowed softly with vibrant colors, and streams of blue light crisscrossed the landscape like glowing rivers. The grass beneath their feet sparkled, and the sky above was filled with gently moving stars. "This is amazing," Emma whispered, scribbling in her notebook. "It's beautiful." Sophie twirled in delight. "Stay sharp," Jack warned. "We don't know what's out here." Meeting the Guardians. As they wandered through the enchanting forest, they were suddenly surrounded by creatures that resembled giant butterflies. Each one had tiny, delicate faces that looked surprisingly human. "Welcome to the magical forest," said one of the butterfly-like creatures, its voice soft and melodic. "Who are you?" Jack asked, raising his stick defensively. "We are the guardians of this land. Only those who prove themselves worthy may remain here." "Prove ourselves? How?" Emma asked curiously. "You must pass 3 tests: wisdom, courage, and creativity. Succeed, and you will be rewarded. Fail, and you must leave." The 3 tests. Test 1, Wisdom. The guardians led them to a clearing where glowing stones surrounded a riddle etched into a large rock. "I am something everyone has, but if you speak of me, I vanish. What am I?" Emma furrowed her brow, deep in thought. Then her face lit up. "It's silence." The stones glowed brightly, and a doorway appeared before them. "Well done," one of the guardians said. "You have passed the first test. Test 2, Courage." In the second test, the trio found themselves in a dark, cavernous room. Suddenly, a massive shadow loomed before them, a dragon-like creature with glowing red eyes. "Who dares enter my lair?" it bellowed. Jack stepped forward. "We're here to prove ourselves. We don't mean any harm." The creature stared at him for a long moment before breaking into a toothy smile. "You have courage. The path is yours." Test 3, Creativity. For the final test, they were led to a blank canvas with paints and brushes. "To pass, you must create something that embodies the spirit of adventure," the guardians instructed. Sophie eagerly took the lead, painting a vibrant scene of the magical forest. She added herself, Emma, and Jack standing in the center, their faces lit with awe and determination. As she completed the painting, the canvas began to glow, and a final portal appeared. The treasure. Through the portal, they found themselves standing before a chest covered in vines. Inside was an ancient book, its pages shimmering with golden light. "This is it," Emma gasped. "The treasure." Jack opened the book to find it filled with stories, maps, and secrets about the magical forest. "It's a guide for explorers like us," he said, awestruck. "This means our adventures are just beginning," Sophie added with a grin. Home again. The trio returned to their village with the book in hand, their hearts brimming with excitement. They knew this was only the start of many journeys to come, and the bond they shared had grown stronger than ever. The end.